Good morrow, scholars. Welcome to a new series of videos. I decided, my buddy Niga and I had gone to a half price books a while back, and he suggested I read the Dresden Files. I have here Stormfront. He suggested skipping to book 3 because the first one's filled with geographical errors and whatnot. It's not too important in regards to the main plot, but you know me, I kind of have to, except for Twilight. I haven't read that one still. Well, that's a lie. I started it, and then I just kind of, Okay. Anyway, so, little bit of background information, and by that I mean, what's on the back. Harry Dresden is the best at what he does. Well, technically, he's the only one at what he does. What? So when the Chicago PD has a case that transcends mortal creativity or capability, they come to him for answers. For the everyday world is actually full of strange and magical things, and most of them don't play well with humans. Humans don't play well with humans. That's where Harry comes in. Takes a wizard to catch, whatever. There's just one problem. Business, to put it mildly, stinks. So when the police bring him in to consult on a grisly double murder committed with black magic, Harry's seeing dollar signs. But where there's black magic, there's a black mage behind it. And now that mage knows Harry's name, and that's when things start to get interesting. Magic. It can get a guy killed. I'm a little bit excited, and one of the reasons I wanted to read this, also I'm standing up today because I've been sitting down too much the last couple of days. But one of the reasons I wanted to read this, especially for the channel, is to get some feedback while I'm doing so. Mine and Mika's series is kind of sort of like this. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of Daredevil kind of mixed in together with a lot of different things going on. So if you see something that you liked in this book that maybe I can not necessarily take or whatnot, but I can get some inspiration from, let me know. Anywho, well, see, it kind of has a little thing here. It says, you can catch more fairies with honey. ... Sorry, it's this thing from Angry Beavers. Never mind. Toot, I don't know, I guess it's the name, alighted on the ground with caution, scanning the surrounding trees. I saw him wipe at his mouth and walk in a slow circle around the miniature dining set, one hand rubbing greedily at his stomach. Once he took the bread and closed the circle, I'd be able to bargain for information for his release. He dithered for a while, fluttering back and forth around the meal, but slowly getting closer to it. Fairies and honey, moths and flame. Toot had fallen for this several times before, and it wasn't the nature of the Fae to keep memories for very long, or to change their essential natures. All the same, I held my breath. The fairy finally hunkered down, picked up the bread, dipped it in the honey, and greedily gobbled it down. The circle closed with a tiny snap that occurred just at the edge of my hearing. Its effect on Toot was immediate. He screamed a shrill little scream, like a trapped rabbit. Oh, I hate that. Where was I again? Oh. I took off toward the lake. Hey, the first one for the series. Gosh darn it. I took off toward the lake in a buzzing flurry of wings. At the perimeter of the circle, he smacked into something as solid as a brick wall, and a little puff of silver motes exploded from him in a cloud. Toot grunted and fell to the earth. I should have known, he exclaimed, as I approached from the trees. You ugly, sneaking, ham-handed, big-nosed, flat-footed. I'm flat-footed. I find that offensive. Mortal worm. Hiya, Toot, I said. Do you remember our deal from last time, or do we need to go over it again? Stormfront. Book 1 of the Dresden Files, by Jim Butcher. Chapter 1. I like how all of that took 5 minutes. I wonder how long the actual chapter is going to take. I heard the mailman approach my office door half an hour earlier than usual. Uh-oh. He didn't sound right. His footsteps fell more heavily, jauntily, and he whistled. A new guy. He whistled his way to my office door and then fell silent for a moment. Then he laughed. Then he knocked. I winced. My mail comes through the mail slot unless it's registered. I get a really limited selection of registered mail, and it's never good news. I got up out of my office chair and opened the door. The new mailman, who looked like a basketball with arms and legs and a sunburned, balding head, was chuckling at the sign on the door glass. I feel like I said that awkwardly. He glanced at me and hooked a thumb toward the sign. "You're kidding, right?" I read the sign. People change it occasionally, and shook my head. "No, I'm serious. Can I have my mail, please?" "So, like party shows and stuff like that, right?" He looked past me as though he expected to see a white tiger, or possibly some skimpily-clad, did I say that right? Assistants prancing around my one-room office. I sighed, not in the mood to get mocked again, and reached for the mail he held in his hands. "No, not like that. I don't do parties." He held on to it. He held on to it, tilted curiously. "So what? Some kind of fortune teller? Cards and crystal balls and things?" "No," I told him. "I'm not a psychic." I tugged at the mail. He held on to it. "What are you then? What's the sign on the door say?" "It says, Harry Dresden, Wizard." "That's me," I confirmed. "An actual wizard?" he asked, grinning as though I should let him in on the joke. "Spells and potions, demons and incantations, subtle and quick to anger." Oh dear. "Not so subtle." I jerked the mail out of his hand and looked pointedly at his clipboard. "Can I sign for my mail, please?" The new mailman's grin vanished, replaced with a scowl. He passed over the clipboard to let me sign for the mail, another late notice from my landlord, and said, "You're a nut, that's what you are." He took his clipboard back and said, "You have a nice day, sir." I watched him go. "Typical," I muttered, and shut the door. I didn't see the show, so I don't know what he sounds like, so I'm just not going to bother. But, yeah, let me know. I actually might watch it. Anyway. My name is Harry Blackstone, that's a good name. Copperfield, naturally. Dresden. Conjure by it at your own risk. I'm a wizard. I work out of an office at Midtown Chicago. As far as I know, I'm the only openly practicing professional wizard in the country. You can find me in the Yellow Pages. Are those still a thing? Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to look that up. Oh, that makes me laugh. You can find me in the Yellow Pages under Wizards. Believe it or not, I'm the only one there. My ad looks like this. Harry Dresden, Wizard. Lost items found. Paranormal investigations. Consulting. Advice. Reasonable rates. No love potions, endless purses, parties, or other entertainment. What are endless purses? You'd be surprised how many people call just to ask me if I'm serious. But then, if you'd seen the things I'd seen, if you knew half of what I knew, you'd wonder how anyone could not think I was serious. At the end of the 20th century, in the dawn of the new millennium, had seen something of a renaissance in the public awareness of the paranormal. Psychics, haunts, vampires, you name it. People still didn't take them seriously, but all the things science had promised us hadn't come to pass. Disease was still a problem, starvation was still a problem, violence and crime and war were still problems. In spite of the advance of technology, things just hadn't changed the way everyone had hoped and thought they would. Science, the largest religion of the 20th century. Well, I guess it kind of... Anyway, let's not get into too early for that. Had become somewhat tarnished by images of exploding space shuttles, crack babies, and a generation of complacent Americans who allowed the television to raise their children. That I agree with. Where is I? Oh. People were looking for something. I think they just didn't know what. And even though they were once again starting to open their eyes to the world of magic and the arcane that had been with them all the while, they still thought I must be some kind of joke. Anyway, it had been a slow month. A slow pair of months, actually. My rent from February didn't get paid until the 10th of March, and it was looking like it might be even longer until I got caught up for this month. My only job had been the previous week when I'd gone down to Dresden, Missouri. Missouri? I have a buddy that lives in that state somewhere. He's supposed to be coming back because he doesn't like the quiet wilderness. I told him he's just too young to appreciate it. And too loud. To investigate a country singer's possibly haunted house. It hadn't been. My client hadn't been happy with that answer, and had been even less happy when I suggested the layout of any intoxicating substances and try to get some exercise and sleep, and see if that didn't help things more than an exorcism. I'd gotten travel expenses plus an hour's pay and gone away feeling I had done the honest, righteous, and impractical thing. I heard later that he'd hired a shyster? I don't know what that is. Is that something I shouldn't say? Someone let me know. Psychic to come in and perform a ceremony with a lot of incense and black lights. Some people. I finished up my paperback and tossed it into the done box. There was a pile of red and discarded paperbacks in a cardboard box on one side of my desk. The spine's bent and the pages mangled. I'm terribly hard on books. Sorry. I was eyeing the pile of unread books, considering which to start next, given that I had no real work to do, when my phone rang. I stared at it in a somewhat surly fashion. We wizards are terrific at brooding. I can think of another Harry. After the third ring, when I thought I wouldn't sound a little too eager, I picked up the receiver and said, "Dresden? Oh, is this Harry Dresden, the wizard?" Her tone was apologetic, as though she were terribly afraid she would be insulting me. No, I thought, it's Harry Dresden, the wizard. Harry the wizard is one floor down. I feel like that'd be me. It is the prerogative of wizards to be grumpy. It is not, however, the prerogative, I think I'm saying that right, freelance consultants who are late on the rent, so... What? Yeah. So instead of saying something smart, I told the woman on the phone, "Yes, ma'am, how can I help you today?" She said, "I'm not sure. I've lost something, and I think maybe you can help me." "Finding lost articles is a specialty," I said. "What would I be looking for?" There was a nervous pause. I'm good at those. "My husband," she said. She had a voice that was a little hoarse, like a cheerleader who'd been working a long tournament, but had enough weight of years in it to place her as an adult. My eyebrows went up. "Ma'am, I'm not really a missing persons specialist. Have you contacted the police or a private investigator?" "No," she said quickly. "No, they can't. That is, I haven't. Oh dear, this is also complicated. Not something someone can talk on the phone about." "I'm sorry to have taken up your time, Mr. Dresden." "Hold on now," I said quickly. "I'm sorry. You didn't tell me your name." There was that nervous pause again, as though she were checking a sheet of written notes before answering. Sounds like something I would have done. "Call me Monica." Never mind. I was going to get into a story. Let's not do that today. People who know diddly about wizards don't like to give us their names. They're convinced that if they give a wizard their name from their own lips, it could be used against them. To be fair, they're right. I had to be as polite and harmless as I could. She was about to hang up out of pure indecision, and I needed the job. I could probably turn hubby up if I worked at it. "Okay, Monica," I told her, trying to sound as melodious and friendly as I could. "If you feel your situation is of a sensitive nature, maybe you could come by my office and talk about it." If it turns out I can help you best, I will. If not, then I can direct you to someone I think can help you better. I gritted my teeth and pretended I was smiling. No charge. It must have been the no charge that did it. She agreed to come right up to the office and told me that she would be there in an hour. That put her estimated arrival at about 2:30. Plenty of time to go out and get some lunch and then get back to the office to meet her. The phone rang again almost the instant I put it down, making me jump. I would jump too. I peered at it. I don't trust electronics. Anything manufactured after the 40s is suspect, and doesn't seem to have much liking for me. You name it. Cars, radios, telephones, TVs, VCRs. None of them seem to behave well for me. I don't even like to use automatic pencils. What? Like mechanical pencils? I don't know. What's wrong with me? I answered the phone with the same false cheer I had summoned up for Monica, who had been missing. This is Dresden. May I help you? Harry, I need you at the Madison in the next 10 minutes. Can you be there? The voice on the other end of the line was also a woman's, cool, brisk, and businesslike. Why, Lieutenant Murphy, I couched, overflowing with. I've never known how this word is pronounced. Saccharine? Saccharine, I don't know. It's good to hear from you, too. It's been so long. Oh, they're fine, fine. And your family? Save it, Harry. I've got a couple of bodies here, and I need you to take a look around. I sobered immediately. Karen, spelt differently, Murphy, was the director of special investigations out of downtown Chicago, a de facto appointee of the police commissioner to investigate any crimes dubbed unusual. Vampire attacks, troll maraudings, fairy abductions of children didn't fit in very neatly on a police report. But at the same time, people got attacked, infants got stolen, property was damaged or destroyed, and someone had to look into it. In Chicago, or pretty much anywhere in Chicagoland, that person was Karen Murphy. I was her library of the supernatural on legs, and a paid consultant for the police department. But 2 bodies? 2 deaths by means unknown? I hadn't handled anything like that for her before. Where are you? I asked her. Madison Hotel on 10th, 7th floor. It's only a 15-minute walk from my office. I said, so you could be here in 15 minutes. Good. I said, I looked at the clock. Monica, no last name, would be here in a little more than 45 minutes. I sort of got an appointment. Dresden, I've got a pair of corpses with no leads and no suspects and a killer walking around loose. Your appointment can wait. My temper flared. It does that occasionally. Another Harry. But it can't, actually, I said. But I'll tell you what. I'll stroll on over, take a look around, and be back here in time for it. Have you had lunch yet? She asked. What? She repeated the question. No, I said. Don't. There was a pause, and when she spoke again, there was a sort of greenish tone to her words. Sorry. It's bad. How bad are we talking here, Murph? Murphy. Her voice softened, and that scared me more than any images of gore or violent death could have. Murphy was the original tough girl, and she prided herself on never showing weakness. It's bad, Harry. Please don't take too long. Special Crimes is itching to get their fingers on this one. And I know you don't like people to touch the scene before you can look around. I'm on the way, I told her, already standing and pulling on my jacket. 7th floor, she reminded me. I'll see you there. Dun dun dun. Okay. I turned off the lights to my office, went up the door, and walked up behind me, frowning. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take to investigate Murphy's scene, and I didn't want to miss out on speaking with Monica and asking her questions. So I opened the door again, got out a piece of paper and a thumbtack, and wrote, out briefly, back for appointment at 2:30, Dresden. That done, I started down the stairs. I rarely use the elevator, even though I'm on the 5th floor. Like I said, I don't trust machines. They're always breaking down on me just when I need them. Besides which, if I were someone in this town using magic to kill people 2 at a time, and I didn't want to get caught, I'd make sure that I removed the only practicing wizard the police department kept on retainer. I liked my odds on the stairwell a lot better than I did in the cramped confines of the elevator. Paranoid? Probably. But just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that there isn't an invisible demon out to eat your face. I can agree to that. Very much so. Okay, so that was pretty fun. I would so much like to go in depth with what I want to do with my series. That is to say, me and Miga. Because we're each writing like different storylines, and they're all going to be somewhat interconnected, but they're not. It's not going to be like a Marvel thing. It's going to be more like a DC Comics where all the stories are overlap. With Marvel, they're much more jumbled. With the Civil War tie-ins and everything, or really just any tie-ins that Marvel has with any of their main events, it's just too much. I've always preferred DC Comics' way of storytelling. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I think this will be a pretty good series. I'm probably going to go buy the rest of the books that are out in the near future, even if I don't end up reading them on the channel. Since I couldn't find another book that I wanted to read, I think I'm going to have a 2-chapter day for this one, just to get started. And I may go back and read Twilight on here, since I have every other book. But I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and until next time, goodbye everybody. I think I'll have fun with this book.